All right, done.
Yay. Woohoo.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yay. Good.
Welcome to our tiny little math club class today. I'm sure it'll grow as we get going, but let's do this.
Yeah, of course, of course. So I wanted to introduce to a tiny little math club something that'll go on the wall
Awesome.
next time.
Awesome.
Yeah, just got it made. So why not?
Why not?
Why not? Yeah, you've got your math club rules.
Brilliant.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah,
Love
I
it.
mean, look, math is the universal language. We all started this journey of learning about maths independent of each other in ancient history because the world was too big to pass on this kind of knowledge. So math as a universal language means that it can really be used for good by bringing people together. Now, the problem with a lot of people who don't understand math is they just aren't able to have a universal logic applied to success that is replicatable. So what happens is you end up having a lot of assumptions based on trust. And you might trust someone, and that person might have made various assumptions himself. Okay, that leads to what? An echo chamber of a confidence that is misplaced. So I feel that there is a lot of data in many industries that are not being shared because these industries operate 90% on trust. And then, of course, if you're in at the beginning of something, then of course you have the largest chance of winning. Now, the problem is a lot of opportunities, they never disclose the beginning. They always say that it's been operating for many, many years, and therefore it won't have any problems. So what is the secret of the stock exchange or securities exchange to attracting liquidity from investors around the world? Well, simply because they force opportunities and companies listed on their platform to be fully transparent. So the date of a opportunity listing on the stock exchange is the date of transparency. Now, if you ask any CEO or owner of a listed company, except for Elon Musk, okay, but if you ask anyone else, they will say that their company is undervalued. Elon Musk already has achieved his success, so he always constantly says Tesla is overvalued. You know, he doesn't want people to buy Tesla shares anymore because it's overvalued. But what I'm trying to emphasize is every single company's owner slash CEO slash chairman slash whatever will always say their company's undervalued. and always want you to participate, to become a shareholder, to buy some stock, to be part of the future. They will never say it's undervalued. It goes against their benefit. Okay? So we've been through this before. Based on, we could emulate this into any other traditional market, but we've got the technology provider, the owner, the leaders, and the community. Okay, now the owners hire presenters. Okay, so if you look at what presenters are in the traditional market, they are equivalent to promoters, to the investment banks. Okay, whenever a company does a roadshow with investment bankers to bring on more shareholders, right? They do presentations in a roadshow. So that is what presenters are. Presenters are there to promote the product that they are trying to sell. Now, they are paid for by the owners of these companies. So they, again, will never say anything negative to leaders who are the fund managers. Okay, so if we look at this, all right, presenters are investment bankers. Leaders are the fund managers. The fund manager is here to make good decisions so that the community that trusts them are able to make money. So for the fund manager to trust the investment banker who's helping a company and being paid by a company to sell, that would lead to disaster. Because the company will always, regardless of what valuation it is, say it is undervalued and it is the right time to buy. So what does fund managers do? Okay, and why the community needs to depend on the fund managers to do this. Okay, the fund manager needs to be able to pull out the data from the technology platform / platform. So the platform and the data provided by the platform is the most important investment decision that leadership should rely on. Now, the problem of not seeking out this information is you are led blindly by the owner, by the presenters, towards an inevitable end. And that end might come slowly or might come suddenly. So the emphasis is to know when something has reached its peak and we should start making an exit in order to save and lock in the returns for the people that are coming with us into these opportunities. Okay, so the tech platform or the exchange, in fact, is there to just make sure that the data is constantly there, is presented. So when an opportunity is launched on day one, the data is there presented. And as we go from the opportunity being around in the market to day 10 or day 100 or day 1000, etc., the data is constantly presented. What that means is we're in a situation where the market is informed. The market is informed. And leaders and community can come together and work with the tech platform to make decisions on the opportunity of when to enter and when to exit. Because we need to understand that the market without data, or the market that doesn't know how to read data, will always end up losing to a market that has data, that can read the relevant reports. So what I'm trying to emphasize is, why doesn't this ecosystem, specifically the affiliate marketing space, really have the attraction of larger players in the market, of smarter players in the market? Because they don't have any data to analyze. And so when there is no data to analyze, it just means that everybody's just taking a stab in the dark and making things up as they go. Now, smart people don't play in these kind of environments, because in these environments, if it means gambling, then that's just not something that real opportunities and funds will look at. So for us to attract the other side of the capital markets into an ecosystem that involves affiliate marketing, that involves networking, that involves the leadership and the community, then we need to be in a position to provide the data. Now, what that means is there will be smarter people, more capable people coming into this market. Now, that might be a little bit scary, but what it also does is it increases the market size. So when a market size increases 10,000-fold, then there is more liquidity for everyone to tap into. There is more longevity for these opportunities. And then ultimately there is bigger and better consensus when we need to make sure things have ongoing value. If we're not having this kind of consensus, it just means when everything goes up, oh, sure, everything is going up at 1% a day or 2% a day. You know, we're benefiting. But when there is an end, the end involves having everything go to zero, or for it to be, you know, less than, let's say, 5 or 10% of its original value. Now, nothing in the traditional stock exchanges go down so severely. The reason why they don't go down so severely is because they tap into the liquidity and the investor network that is available in the traditional market, which is much more informed and much more capable of making decisions of buying high and making it go up even higher. So the safety net is there. There is strength in numbers. No doubt about that. So What we're here to do is to bring about a significant level of transparency to these projects. And the best way we do it is by making sure everyone sees the data coming through on a daily basis. You can't trust owners to present the full picture. You can only trust yourself to seek it. Because owners and companies, like I said, the CEO, the owner will always say, my company is undervalued. And when they are undervalued, what do? They will always only show you the rosier side of the picture, what they're planning to do, you know, and not focus on the reality. The reality is that companies are here to build, and they're here to build on investors' money. That's the reality. Investors have a chance of winning, have a chance of losing, but the company is here to build on investors' money. So that is the reality. Now, how do they keep all the shareholders or all the token holders engaged, you know, so that there is further consensus, further growth? That requires the company to create long-term trust. And the best way to create long-term trust is just be honest. Just be honest. So where do I stand in all this? I stand with the community in providing the data that the community needs to make decisions. Okay. I stand with the investors. Okay. Now, that is why this kind of maths class exists, because investing, you know, requires us to remove ourselves from all the emotions. It requires us to just look at the data again and again and again. And so moving forward, what we want to do is just take some use cases, things that have already happened in the past, go through the data and see where the turning point is. And it is always about not timing your exit when the turning point happens. It's always timing your exit before the turning point. Because there is no reason why you should time your exit when the turning point happens. To make this relatable to stock trading, okay? What do retail investors do? Okay? They only buy when they see green candles, stock price going up. And when it keeps going up, they buy more. When it starts going down, what happens? You get fixated on what you could have made, and you don't sell. You don't sell. And then you just hold until it goes to zero. Now, what should have happened is you buy when the market is fearful of the situation. So that you're not buying halfway into the rise. You know, you're not buying on day 10, day 20, day 30 of something that is going up. You know, when you buy day zero, no one buy day zero. Everybody wants to see track record. Everyone wants to see whether this thing works or not. By the time day 10 rolls around, you've lost 10 days. You've lost 10 days. So when you participate on day zero, I already mentioned, you already have the maximum chance of profiting because you have the maximum amount of leverage. Day zero is when everybody's like, oh, you know, I will only try with my own money. I won't bring anyone else. I won't bring anyone else in. Okay. Now, the turn will always happen after you recover your 1x. Because there will always be someone who joins a little bit later and a little bit later and a little bit later. So it should always happen after you recover your 1x. If you're disciplined enough, recover your 1x and then watch for the turn. The turning point of any project is always when the market feels that the opportunity has gone on for long enough and are just all cashing out. And so what we want to make sure everyone does is focus on mock trading when you come into an opportunity on day zero. Because the data, once it's clear and transparent and provided by the tech platform, you just go, okay, I got into this opportunity on day zero. I got into this opportunity on day zero. And every single opportunity allowed me to get the 1x out. That is the objective, right? Our objective is not to trust an opportunity or to sit on an opportunity for years. If we're to sit on an opportunity for years, right? How do we know we've made the right decision? If we're playing in the space of stocks or currencies or cryptocurrencies, we're playing in a very liquid market. And if we're playing in a very liquid market, then everyone else has the opportunity to remove liquidity just like you. So it is always important to be selling down after you've built up your stake, because when you sell down, you mark your exit and you mark your profit. If you don't ever do that, you never know. You just simply never know. You just hold on to something for too long. And what I'm trying to say is, it's not that everything will go to zero. Sometimes things just need to be readjusted, right? For it to go back up again. Not a problem. But it is always important to clear your headspace. Clear your headspace by getting out your 1x at least, right? So that you can focus on taking a step back, not having your emotions attached to an opportunity as you wait for them to readjust their strategy to continue from strength to strength again. Because during that readjustment phase, there is always the opportunity for you to put more money in. But if you don't take out your 1x, if you don't take out your principal, then you don't have any more money to put in. You don't have any options to continue. Remember, failure is something that you cannot afford more than a couple of times. So it's all about being disciplined, having smaller wins but more frequently. And then through those small wins that are frequent, you're able to achieve consistent results, because consistency, again, is much more better than just winning that once-off lottery ticket that you cannot replicate ever again. So, yeah, I like to keep this math class relatively short, because I just want to have everybody understand this is how you end. Because when you end it like this, you're able to actually record your success and make more success. Because you having your principal back allows you to continue and continue and continue. Great. Thanks, Kirsten, for organizing, as always. And thanks, everyone, for attending.
No problem at all. Are you open to any? We've got a hand up. Are you open to a question?
Of course.
Okay. Zoom user, thank you for turning your camera on. I just like to know who's in the room. If you can just unmute.
Yeah, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I have a question for Sam. He kept saying you have to join on day 1 or day 0 to be able to gain or make your 1x. And at the same time, he wants us to advertise the business to others. Now, the question is this. If I join on day 1 myself, advertising to others will be days after. Those people are not joining on day 1. It means that whoever I'm bringing in will not benefit from the system. Do you understand my question? How is it possible for me to advertise something when they are not going to join on day 1?
Well, the easy answer is there will always be opportunities that are launched by new owners. The new owners will always use the StableDAO database as a database to encourage people to participate. So, you know, what has happened is there are people, leaders, that build a nice structure with their teams onto StableDAO, but they do not activate their team until they identify the opportunity that interests them, and then ask their entire team all to come in on day 0. Now, there will be some that come in on day 1, some that come in on day 2, but the thing is, they have all come in and therefore given themselves as an entire team the maximum leverage. And they are disciplined enough to say, look, you know, after a week, if you're not on board, just stop promoting. Go to the next opportunity. Wait for the next opportunity. Because the next opportunity is always there. So, you know, it's not like, think of it this way. If you bought Tesla shares and you made double your money, and then you told your friend about it, and then your friend bought into Tesla shares, and he made double his money as well, which means you've made 4 times your money. And then your friend's friend told someone about it. Now, this resulted in him putting his entire life savings in, and then the share price crumbled, went down 50%, 70%, 90%, it doesn't matter. Now, sure, you didn't mean any harm. Your friend didn't mean any harm. You made 4x, your friend made double. But why did your friend's friend come in at the end lose? Because of timing. Because when you started selling and when your friend started selling, who else is buying? This is all about liquidity at the end of the day. every meme coin in existence has no utility. No utility beyond, well, there is store of value, but that is also inexistent for everything. Okay. Every token that is a layer 1 blockchain, you know, the utility is questionable because the utility is based on the use of that blockchain. Now, so far, the traditional world uses database because blockchain, as secure as it is not that efficient. Blockchain developers are also more expensive. So it's not like, let's build a blockchain for everything. Okay, this is a space that is still very much full of opportunity and still very early on. And that is why I'm here. It is never too late to give this information to everyone, right? Because ultimately, I want everybody to win together. Okay? And if there are losses, well, at least be on the same level of loss or level of gain. That is very important because the last thing you want is the situation where you make 4 times, your friend makes twice, and then the person that comes in the end loses everything. You know, it takes discipline for an entire team to come into something on day 1 or day 0. But that is what we need. That is what we need.
You remember there was a time I asked you a question. I think it was on the Telegram, and you answered. That was about life cycle, project life cycle. Remember? My name is John.
Yes.
I was the guy who asked you that question. I asked you that question after watching you and looking at what you're saying. My fear was that the event was coming to an end. That was why I was asking you, what stage of event are we? That was my question. You actually dodged that question. I was already looking at the event coming to an end. And actually, I was right. The question, you didn't answer it, and it came to an end just so soon. And it's not really good. My advice to people is that once I enter into any of your business, I might not bring anybody in because we have a lot of people on our neck because they lost money. And it kept on happening. It's not good. It's not fair at all.
Yes, and if we're talking about Vend, the reason why the entire supermarket, the entire marketplace came to an end is because everybody started redeeming their gift cards. Okay, they're saying, look, I don't want to participate in anything anymore. I just want to leave. So there was a significant lack of understanding from the market on what the business is. Okay, what the business is. The business was always to have everyone contribute to a shared liquidity pool for everyone to benefit from the success of these opportunities. One product might be making money for the supermarket. The other product might be losing money for the supermarket. But at least there is a consistent inflow that keeps the lights on. I mean, a good example of this would be Costco. They sell, the full-size chicken at a loss. It's placed at the very back of their massive bulk buying warehouse. What it means is you need to walk past literally every product in this massive supermarket, just if you want that product that is cheaper than the entire marketplace. Yes, if everybody was to go through this process of emptying out the chicken, the roasted chicken, Costco would be out of business. But it's called a loss leader. What is a loss leader? It is a product that you sell at a loss so that everybody else that buys anything else will recover the losses made on that one product. So And that was what would have created a more stable ecosystem. But what wasn't stable was when everybody decided that they do not want to do shopping here anymore. Okay, so we've already made it very clear to all of the community as we begin again that each product is sold by its vendor. Instead of a supermarket approach where there's products on shelves, each product has its own owner and its own vendor. As its own vendor, it is responsible for its own product or range of products. So the objective is to ensure a healthy level of liquidity across the entire platform, because the balance sheet of each and every single vendor is its own.
My final question.
Yes.
Why was Giftbox allowed into the system when there was no $1 liquidity? Because we paid, we bought the package, immediately entered, and we couldn't withdraw 1 penny. So why was an item allowed into the system when it was not proved that it can pay?
So the liquidity was supposed to come on day 2. There just wasn't liquidity on day 1. The liquidity was supposed to come on day 2, because day 2 purchases are done in USDT. And that creates a liquidity event for everyone who purchased Giftbox, not only using day 1 tokens, but also day 2 USDT, to all be able to share in the liquidity event. So that was poorly communicated to the market as the entire platform not having liquidity, and we just saw significant withdrawals with no real deposits from that moment onwards. So again, you know, we had 5 days of consistent withdrawals towards a nil balance, and of course the project owners obviously have to be paid. If I owe, as a supermarket, my the producers that ship their products to the supermarket, if I owe them money, then no producers, no owners will come and put their products in the supermarket ever again. Okay, so because the owners are all paid, because we've recognized that the community, the audience, has a little bit less understanding of how this is built and how this is put together. It just needs to be put on pause so that we do a little bit of education to make sure everybody understands that when we approach it in a way where people understand that one product helps another in creating a positive treasury for the entire platform, then nothing ever bad happens. So what needs to happen now is everything is restarting, and we're now making sure that every single vendor is in control of its own liquidity. Now, what that means is the loss leader, which I previously mentioned, was the Vend packages, the Vend tokens, right? Because they were given out through the freebie tasks. Okay, they were given out. And that just meant discount packages across all the board. So that is what we're going to park to one side, so that there is no more loss leader in the new system. So everyone is responsible for their own liquidity moving forward. And that creates something that is much more aligned with the financial markets. You know, there is no platform in the world that says, download this app, click here, and you get, you know, free Tesla shares. No. A Tesla share is worth whatever it is worth, right? And you need to pay for the ownership of these assets. So moving forward, we're forcing the community to see the financial data of every single project on a daily basis. We're also forcing the ownership of the liquidity pool of each project onto the project owner, and no more freebies.
Thank you. That's all for me.
Thank you for that. Right, we've got another hand up. You got time, Sam?
Yep, sure. Last one.
Okay. Here you go.
Hi,
Hi.
this is Elias from Ethiopia.
Hi.
It is a short thing to say to some. It is not. I'm not here to complain, but even though there is a devastating destruction financially to me and my team, so it is to move forward with the Vend and Sam's project. But since we have been losing, if we get this information earlier, it would have saved us. But now I see. So me and my team would like to continue. But since Hyperverse, I have invested a lot. Then when some happens to stand for community, I followed him throughout all the next projects he launched, with first VideoLook, then second VideoLook after August 18, and Valve, and now Invent. I was buying the top packets, the highest packets in the platform, me and my team. So unfortunately, I lost in all of them. I didn't withdraw any. Me and my team were very eager, collecting our friends and giving training to more teams, bringing in new members. But finally, we lost. So now I am at the position now. I didn't even.
You're on mute.
Muted. You've muted yourself.
But just the situations. So at least to allow me and my team to start in the next project with minimum amount of fund. That is from our capital. We don't. I don't ask all of them, but I just to survive. In order to survive, I would like to ask some to me and my team to let us to reinvest what is in it, at least in this Vend. Not all of the capitals fund refund. I'm not asking for the refund. Just half of or 1/4 of it.
You've muted yourself.
And make some recoveries. So that's why I think it's clear with my second language, English.
Of course. So I understand there are a lot of people who have lost. I also understand there's a lot of people who have won. Okay? And the reason why there are people who win and people who lose is because this is how finance works. This is how finance works. And those who are more financially literate and are disciplined are consistently winning. The reason why I am doing these classes is because I realized that there has been a lot of people who have lost. And the formula to winning is actually simple. There are, of course, many ways to really win bigger, but let's just focus on a win, you know, a small win, because when you have a small win and you can consistently win again and again and again, then it is, of course, something that you will have no problems in effectively replicating for the rest of your life, right? So the objective really is, if you look at my business models, I am here as a tech provider. I don't make the most money. You know, I don't even make the money some of these leaders make. Because towards the end of any opportunity, it's the owners and the leaders who are trying to bring as much money together from the community before it reaches an end. Before it reaches an end. So the technology company has a simple job. Run the technology all the way to the end and make sure everybody gets what they need to get. And of course, those who put money in and never sell, they get nothing. You know, they get probably a recovery of something through something else at a later stage, a solution, but that is not a place you want to be. You want to be waiting for a solution with your 1x in hand. And so this is a very simple formula that a lot of people can apply. And if they apply it with discipline, then at least they're in a very strong position to get back their 1x and more. And more. So I'm sorry to hear about your situation, but you have to ask yourself, who is the person who brought you in? And who is the person that told you to just keep holding until it reaches the end? So this is the education that I think is missing in this market, because it's important to have the courage to buy. But I think it takes even more courage to sell, and realize a profit. Because it's not about loyalty. It's not about loyalty. You're doing this to make money for yourself. Holding on to something because you trust Sam or trust the owner, that's not loyalty. The owner is here to keep things going for as long as possible and to have enough liquidity to keep generating returns. The company and the owner never loses money, but they make the big money. The technology provider makes the small amount of money and is, well, for me in particular, someone who never has to ever hide the truth, who never has to run, you know. And at the end of the day, what I want to do with Vend is to make sure that everyone has daily data. So look, maybe you want to participate in something that has been rolling on for 10, 20, 30 days, but at least you do it with full visibility of total deposits, total packages sold, and the cost of the goods being sold, because the cost of rewards always should be increasing the longer a project runs for. So, yeah, I want people to win, but that is not my responsibility. And so hopefully we could get more people, especially yourself as a leader, bringing their community to this maths class. And what happens is you've got the tree, you've got the structure. Just tell everybody to be in something day zero and just be selling. Okay. Every single project has their own treasury that they manage so that they are all independent from each other. That was not clearly communicated because, of course, owners / presenters are here to not provide the full picture. They're only here to provide the picture that leaders and community need to see to keep buying. You know, so use me as a tool to provide the transparency needed so that you can make a decision on when you want to make your exit. So, you know, I'm here to help, but we need to read the data every single day. It's not something, you know, you don't put your money with your neighbor, you know, and the neighbor says he'll pay you back 30 days. You don't wait until day number 30 to ask your money back, because most likely you'll never get it on day number 30. Okay. And what do? Oh, you bring a beer a week later. And how's everything going? And 2 weeks later, you're like, oh, by the way, you have 2 more weeks before you need to pay me back that money. And on the third and last week, you say, if there is any problems paying me back that money, you got to let me know now. Okay, you got to let me know now. And then on the day of collection, you basically go there, right, and say, look, you've reassured me 3 times that there is no problem. I'm here to collect that money. And if you do not give me that money today, because you've already reassured me 3 times, there's no problem. Well, we're going to be having a lot of problems now. Okay. So similarly, when you deploy your capital, you need to look at the reports on a daily basis. Okay. It's building up healthy amount of treasury and the withdrawals are stable. But as soon as you see something that is not right, get out. And get out at least with your 1x and let the rest sit around for the inevitable end and an inevitable solution. Because what problem happens when you're building an opportunity or a project on an independent platform by yourself on your own little island is that when things go down, the owner can choose, no, it's okay. I don't really want to find a solution for anybody. Bye. Okay. But if you are, for example, putting your product into a supermarket, right? And the product no longer is any good. But what do? You sell the next product. You sell the next product. And when you sell the next product, you have to obviously tie to the previous product and find a solution for that. So this can be done more efficient if it's all on a singular platform with full transparency so that the community can see on a daily basis the health of an opportunity. So yes, I understand that it would be wonderful if this information was provided by me to everyone earlier. But guess what? The information I've provided is not rocket science. You know, simple Google search will tell you that and this is just investment 101. Okay, basic risk mitigation strategies. But that's the thing. When everything in this space is earning commissions to the leaders on the sale of the transaction, at the start of the transaction, it means there is no incentive to tell your downlines to sell. There is no incentive. And so that is the biggest separation between great leadership and not so great leadership. You know, the ability to manage risk. So with that said, I just really hope that I can move beyond talking about risk management and the end and talk about bigger and better things. So next session, which is only in a couple of days' time, I want to talk about the process of creating an opportunity for everybody to be a part of. You know, not just being a follower, okay, leading your people into an opportunity, but to complete the full cycle, to understand the full cycle, you need to be on the other side, okay? And to create your own opportunity is not that scary. It's just so few people do it because they're wondering, oh, but what if I have thousands of angry token holders who are upset at me? Well, as long as I have the ability to guide you through the crisis, okay, through this crisis, then a project only goes from strength to strength to strength. Bitcoin did not get to over $35,000 just overnight. It's not something that just increased every single day until it reaches this price point. No. It was called dead by mainstream media no less than a dozen times ever since its inception. So when things are called dead, it just means that people have lost interest. When people lose interest, what is the most important thing you should do? You should use your treasury to buy back the people who lost interest, who no longer believe. You know, there are plenty of people who FOMO'd into Bitcoin at its peak. And then when the market and mainstream media called it dead, they're like, okay, fine, I'll just decide to take an 80% haircut on my investment in Bitcoin, and I'll sell it back to the market at $100. Yes, I bought it at $200. I'll just sell it back to the market at $100. Well, because they didn't hold, there are people who bought the dip and it's moved back up. The people who buy the dip are the people who are confident in the project. And you know who's the most confident in the project? And here's a secret. It's the owners of the project. Do you know every single project that we've launched in this space, the owners, as long as they are disciplined with their treasury, simply buy the dip of their own project. Okay, so it's down 90%, no problems. But the money was collected on an average of the project being valued at, let's say, $50. It went to a peak of $150, and now it's down to $20. You actually have the ability to buy everyone out at $20 and put the project back on track into the next launch. What that means is time. There are people who are impatient. They are willing to take a 80% discount in order to get out. Those people who are impatient are the people the projects take advantage of. In this case, I've seen plenty of times where I've taken advantage of people who sell Bitcoins back to me just because they don't have patience anymore. So I want to focus on the next thing in the next math class, which is how, as a project owner, you're able to run something that never has an end. Okay, it's only going to go from strength to strength to strength. Okay, because as a project owner, time is on your side. Let's not forget, leaders are upset because the community is making them feel like they've done a bad job, right? But the project owners, time is on their side. Why? Because they're holding the treasury. They're holding the treasury, finding the right solutions, and of course, at the same time, taking out the people who are not patient and just want to get out. So with that said, I look forward to seeing you guys in a couple of days. Please bring people, because, you know, it's not easy to digest what's going on the other side, but it's necessary. It's necessary because once you understand what a project owner's way of thinking is, then you as an investor or a leader can make decisions that counter what they want. Because what do owners want? They just want buyers and no sellers. That's what they want. Okay? Now it's your job to not give them what they want, because if you give them what they want, then you guys don't make any money. And we're here to make money.
Yeah.
So we go through the exercise of a project owner's mentality, because as leaders, as community, you're here to play on the opposite side, to your own benefit.
Okay, so just one last question, short one. So in order to bring my team and myself in and go forward with the thinking that you already explained well, just we are now in the fourth time of total losing, because not having that kind of understanding, because we were always hoping that there were attractive promotions that doesn't allow us to pull out our money, that we were putting in, hoping it will come back on multiplying, but finally it stopped the withdrawal. So since we are lost in four of the platforms, especially the responsibility that I expect from you is from August 18, Vidlook and Valve, and now Vend. So at least
I'll just stop you there. Sorry, like we're not going into that in this class. This is about specifically about math class, and like there are chats for those kind of questions. And I just want to keep this clean where it's a good, positive space for people to learn.
Okay. Now my last point is, let me finish my last point.
My point is, everybody who got in on day zero and diligently and disciplinedly sold, got out. Okay.
Now
so there is no rug pull if it's run for a very long period of time, and everybody who got in at the very beginning were able to make a lot of money, right? And now, in regards to promotions, I think I've already went through this, and then we'll just end the call because, you know, we have this math class every couple of days anyways, right? In terms of promotions,
Next time I'll bring
right?
him and myself. Yeah.
Bring your people, all right? Bring your people. But in terms of promotions, you have to understand, a company promotes a product when the product is needing additional liquidity to sustain itself. So a promotion is what? Is basically to accelerate and give a project an extension in its time. So just like you know, something that is nearing expiry, what do you want to do? As a company that's selling that product, you promote it, you discount. Okay, so the people. I think this is a very simple investment concept, right? You buy when everyone's fearful, and then you sell when everyone's greedy.
Yep.
So it's already run for a long period of time. The withdrawals are ever increasing. Okay, so the liquidity pool is shrinking, and the company's job is to promote, push, just to sustain the velocity. So
Yeah, I
again,
that now.
This is why I'm your best friend, because I'm here to provide you the data, and then you could see what they're doing. Based on the data, you could see what they're doing, and then when you see what they're doing, just don't fall for it. Just know that what they're doing is for their own benefit as a company. What you're doing is, as a leader, for the benefit of your people. So this has nothing to do with trust. This is everything to do with numbers, hard evidence. Okay, and that is what I'm here to provide, so that you could, with your team, win and win again.
Yeah, we will be better in the next time. Just give us a survival rope space. Just that's my question. The only question that I have. At least we.
Great. Thank you.
Dan. Thank you guys for being in the class. And I think going forward, like, we've all been in a situation where we've lost, right? Because we come into this game complete newbie. Oh, I know I was a complete newbie. I'd only heard the word Bitcoin, and that was about my knowledge of the whole space. And so, yes, I have lost things along the way, but we either carry on in that exact same mindset, and the same thing will happen. Doesn't matter where we go. It doesn't matter which platform it is. And we will just carry on in the same mindset. The same thing will keep happening. Or we can change our mind.
$100 will be survival of your project from day one.
What was that? Oh, anyway, guys, see you in a couple of days for the next exciting episode. Thank you.
Excellent. See ya.
See ya.